ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरोर्न वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सागररघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतो पंगो मौ मंदमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्भोजौ राधा मदर मोहनौ दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद् राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भे वंशी वटतटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणुस्वनैर्गोपी गोपीनाथश्रियस्तु नः। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Welcome to this 17th day of wonderful hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, and today is a special day because today is the appearance day of a great favorite of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is Sri Gadadhar Pandit Prabhu. So we chant his name. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta. So fortunately, blissfully, we discussed about his attachment, past time of his attachment for Srimad Bhagavatam during one of the days. So fortunately, today it appeared to be his wonderful pastime, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed him to become the authoritative speaker on Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have today we'll have more blissful Bhagavatam Katha, Bhagavatam narration by the mercy of Gadadhar Pandit Prabhuji, and he is very much attached to Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees used to go every day to Tota Gopinath temple to hear the Bhagavat Katha from the lotus mouth of Gadadhar Pandit. So he won the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even Navadvip itself. That's why he could not leave. He could not leave Chaitanya Mahaprabhu alone. That's why when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Puri Jagannath after his renounced order, then Gadadhar Prabhu also went to that place. So by paying our humble respectful obeisances to Gadadhar Pandit Prabhuji, we will move on to our story of Srimad Bhagavatam, and our standard way of offering prayers to Naranarayana, Vyasadeva and Saraswati Mata. Narayanam namaskritya naranchaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are also very blissful today and also fortunate and well blessed by the Acharyas. Today morning we have completed the 10th canto recitation of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the afternoon, by that we have myself and my wife, we have just happily concluded Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. So we will start 11th canto from tomorrow. As I mentioned that we have been reading this Sanskrit sloka by my wife Vishnu Jana Sevika Devidasi, and I am reading the translation. So in this way, both Shravanam and Kirtanam is continuously happening for almost a month time. Initially it went very fast. However, when I started this Srimad Bhagavat Katha Shatakam, so my time half is taken away from my reading. So now from my reading it has come to my speaking. So both are Bhagavatam only, but because of this I am having two parallel going on, and 10th canto we happily concluded on the wonderful appearance day of Srila Gadadhar Pandit. So in that there was a nice concluding sloka. All devotees are very fond of, even Shukadeva Goswami also very happily singing that one. Also happily singing about it, and Srila Prabhupada has given very elaborate purport it. Jayati Jananivaso Devaki Janmavado Yaduvara Parishad Dorbhi Asyanna Dharmam Sthirachara Vrajinagna Suspita Shri Mukhena Vrajapura Vanitam Vardhayan Kamadevam. This is almost coming to the last one or two words, the slokas of 10th canto. Shukadeva Goswami was narrating. He is saying all glory, Jayati. Jayati means Jai Jai. He is saying Jai Jai. Jai Jaikar. To whom? Jai Jaikar to the Supreme Personality, who is the Janani Vasa, who is the real shelter of all, who is the real shelter of all the living entities, not only human beings. And because he stays in everybody's heart. Srila Prabhupada is writing purport, because he Jananivasa means he stays in everybody's heart. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Ishvara Sarvabhutana Hrideshi Arjuna Tishtati. That is the confirmation. So Shukadeva Goswami is saying that all glory is to Krishna, who is staying in everyone's heart, all living entities. Devaki Janmavado. And Srila Prabhupada says that one should not be thinking that, oh, since he is staying in the heart, he is not there outside. So basically he is staying in the form of a witness. He is staying as witness and also as a friend, so that he would connect to the actual original form which is there in the spiritual world, and also he is available wherever people really meditate. He would be in front of us. And people, the Mayavadi people think that the Supreme Personality is actually formless. So when he actually comes and take incarnation, he has to be under the control of the Prakriti. But that's why they say that Devaki Nandana. So that's why they said Devaki Janmavado. That is the word used by Shukadeva Goswami, saying that people call him as son of Devaki Devi. They call him, but actually, though people call as Devaki Janmavado, he is the original super soul. He is the original super soul, and also he is the all-pervading Supreme Brahman, and he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and of course, devotees also take in a little different way also. saying that if the Devaki Janmavado, this is very important, very beautiful verse, that if all devotees can really memorize this verse, and this concludes almost the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. In Srimad Bhagavatam there are 12 cantos, that is called, in Sanskrit it's called skanda. There are 12 skandhas, in English it's called canto. So the 10th canto is like a phase of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is nothing but Krishna's pastimes, and it contains 90 chapters, the biggest canto. Originally Srila Prabhupada has planned for 20 volumes. He has planned for 20 volumes to describe this 10th canto itself. That was his original plan. So devotees describe this Devaki Janmavado, that means Vada, why the word has come, means they describe or they say. It is not confirmed. Jananivasa is a statement of confirmed. Devaki Janmavada means people say and people accept, like that it goes. Because originally Krishna and Balaram, actually Krishna is being described here, they consider actually Krishna as the son of Yashoda. Because from the child, the moment, the day he is born, he traveled to Gokula, and there only he has demonstrated unlimited pastimes, which will be pleasing to the unlimited living entities forever. So all the pastimes are enjoyed by Nanda Baba and Yashoda. So though people say that Devaki Janmavado, though actually he is Yashoda Nandan. So that should be Yashoda Janma. It should be like that. And even when all the Yadu and Vasudeva and Devaki and when they met Nanda Yashoda in Kurukshetra, they confirmed it, that actually Krishna Balaram belong to you, they said, because without any, selflessly, without love, Nanda Yashoda, they loved Krishna and really made him very happy to grow. So that is very interesting. Jayati Jananivaso Devaki Janmavado Yaduvadava Parishad Dorbhi Asyanya Dharmam. So by his power of the bhuja, really he protected he has protected that it's called and of course the other way is by using Yaduvara Parishad Sway Dorbhi Asyan Adharmam. So he used all the Yaduvaras, means the great personalities of Yaduvara, and also like Arjuna, he ensured that Asyan Adharmam, he destroyed the Adharma. Sometimes he directly destroyed the Adharma, and sometimes through the hands of his devotee like Arjuna, he destroyed the Adharma. Stirachara Vrijanagnam, by Susmita Srimukhena, he Stira and Chara. Stira means which cannot move, Chara means which can move. So when Krishna was moving in Vrindavan, even all the animals like deers and cows and peacocks, monkeys, simply by seeing, and also there are so many trees also got really liberated, and also they were enjoying so much simply by seeing the beautiful smiling face of Krishna. That is Sthirachara Vrijnagnam. Actually their life is full of misery. The trees' life is full of miseries, and also animals' life is full of misery. But he just removed their misery. Krishna has simply removed their misery by his smiling face, both at Vrindavan and also at Dwaraka. Dwaraka also there are so many animals, cows, peacocks and monkeys also there, and simply by his smiling face he has removed their unhappy condition. Vrajapura Vanitana Vardhen Kamadevam, and he has increased lusty desires, lusty feelings of the Vrajapura Vanita, and the gopis at Gokula, and also the queens at Dwaraka. And Sukadeva Goswami says that I am actually saying all glories Jayati Jayani Vasu, Jayati Janani Vasu. So this is a beautiful, I thought I should narrate to you, because this is the conclusion of the 10th canto, sloka almost. So all of you can really, the sloka number is, this is 10th canto, 90th chapter, 48th sloka. That is 10.90.48. 10.90.48. So this is a beautiful sloka where here Sthirachara Vrijinagnam, the Krishna's nature is simply by his smiling face he would destroy the misery of anybody, animals or even trees. Then what to talk about the devotees? We are concerned and we are attached to his pastimes. So he would be always the miseries, whatever are there, whatever perceived miseries, by his smiling face. So he would smile at us when we are thinking about him, when we are hearing about him, when we are actually glorifying him, and we really preach about him to the others. So we can be very confident and we are seeing time to time that how he is protecting his devotees in each and every Manvantara, also in the form of Manvantara avatars is coming specifically. And also we'll see today also how the Lord will be appearing to save his devotees. So today also, as per our plan, we'll be studying 4 stories, hearing stories. So the first story is story of attraction towards a woman, and the story of Vishnu Maya. So this is story of Lord's Maya. This is called, today's first story is Lord's Maya, Bhagavan Maya. So it is clearly mentioned in the scriptures, and Acharyas repeatedly mentioned, this world is existing only because of attraction between man and woman. There is no other reason why this material world should exist. Despite all difficulties, the man would not leave the home, or despite any difficulties coming from the husband, a woman would not leave. So this is the nature. And human beings, and this is common for the animals also, and we see that the woman would attract man and man would attract woman, and there will be a attraction which continues when they get united. And that's why all the living entities, now we are talking about human beings, they are bound in a jail or in a prison called Maithuna. That's why it is called, Srila Prabhupada has given word Maithunagara. This is the prison of the intercourse, Maithuna. So Maithunagara, and this actually continues, actually this creates a knot which is called Hrudaya Grandhi. Hrudaya Grandhi is a strong knot is created in the heart, and that knot is not there originally, but as soon as man and woman get united, this Hrudaya Grandhi is created. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, beginning itself, Sutta Goswami mentions, Vidyate Hrudaya Grandhi Chidyante Sarvasamshaya Kshiyante Chasya Karmani Drishta Evatmanishwar. When actually somebody sees the soul as the master, then this Hrudaya Grandhi gets completely cut into pieces, because this knot is so much tight, it is very difficult to remove it. So it is only one way to cut it, because sometimes it so happens the thread gets so much knotted that it is very difficult to remove very carefully. And as you try to remove more and more, it turns. So the best way is to cut it out. So that's why the word used in Srimad Bhagavatam by Suta Goswami is Bhidyate Hridaya. So of course it's not only for human beings, it is there for the animals also. But for animals there is no time, or there is no knowledge, or there is no intelligence to think about it. So only human beings will get in the association of devotees, by the mercy of spiritual master, by the study of scriptures, by the advice of the sadhus, will get some intelligence to really make some analysis. So here from this we can understand that the attraction will not leave anybody. And one such story also we can see how Supreme Lord really is creating this type of attraction is a part of today's story. Now before that, in continuation of yesterday, one story, when the Mohini Avatar, the Supreme Lord Vishnu appeared in the scene and ensured that demons are deprived of the nectar, and all demigods are beautifully, happily given all the nectar. And after distributing this nectar to all demigods, the Supreme Lord Narayana went back to his abode. Then the big fight, big Deva-Danava Yuddha, the fight of demons and demigods began on the banks of the Kshirasagara, the milk ocean. Then all the people, especially, they took different types of carriers. Somebody got in onto chariots, somebody got onto horses, somebody got in onto the elephants, somebody onto monkeys, somebody onto camels, somebody onto donkeys, somebody onto tigers, somebody onto even lions. Whatever is available, they jumped onto that and started fight with each other. But they made a good practice that the person who is on the chariot, he took onto a person's chariot, horse onto horse, elephant onto elephant, camel onto camel. Like that, there is only fighting between equals. It so happened that the demigod side, the main person is Indra, and demon side it is Bali Maharaj. So Bali Maharaj took onto a aeroplane that's called Vaihayasa. It's called Vaihayasa, and that was created, that was manufactured by Mayadanava. Mayadanava, always we see him again and again, and he keeps on creating something and creates some problems also. So the Mayadanava gave this, and that was containing so many Astra Shastras, and when Bali Maharaj got onto that, even his main assistants like Namuchi, Shambhara, all the demons also, they got onto that, and there was a fight between Bali Maharaj and Indra, and Taraka, Varuna and Heti, Mitra with Praheti, Yamraj with Kalanabha, Vishwakarma with Mayadanava, Surya with Virochana, Bhadrakali with Shumbha Nishubha. Like one side demigod, one side demons, they got into the fighting spirit and fighting mode, and they started. And they saw that hands and legs are getting cut down, and heads are getting down, everybody is getting injured. Like that, everything is happening. And Bali Maharaj at the time, using 10 arrows, he shot at Indra, and also he shot 3 arrows at the Airavata. He shot 4 arrows at the legs of Airavata. Like that, he in one shot he shot so many arrows. But Indra was so expert, before the arrows reaching, with his expert wielding of things, he stopped everything, and he ensured that he is more powerful, because now he has actually taken the nectar. So Bali Maharaj tried to throw so many arrows, throw different types of astra shastra, but nothing has really worked. He thought, now let me get onto Asuri Maya. Asuri Maya is something that one cannot imagine what's happening. So when he started meaning the Danava Maya, and the moment the Danava Maya is applied by Bali Maharaj, suddenly all the devatas found a big hill was started flying on their head. So anybody would feel that, oh, big entire covering the entire army of the demigods, a big hill was floating on their head, so it may fall any moment. So everybody became very much terrified. And from that floating hill, they found so many burning trees started falling down, and also so many stones started falling down. And suddenly they saw, when they are looking on the upside, suddenly they saw hundreds and thousands of lions started attacking them. Hundreds and thousands of the tigers, elephants, everything. It's all only illusion. It's only like a Hollywood movie. It's an illusion. Actually, nothing is there. But everybody gets frightened. And it's like a fire. Fire has engulfed. So when it's happening, they all become speechless and directionless and completely fearful. So at that time, they have only one path, that is praying to Supreme Lord Vishnu. So they all prayed to Supreme Vishnu, and Supreme Lord Vishnu immediately appeared there on his bird carrier. And Supreme Lord, he was just with 800 forms with all weapons. With 800 forms with all weapons, when the moment appeared, by his presence itself, the entire Danava Maya got disappeared. One shot. Means all the elephants, tigers, lions, hill, everything disappeared. Everything is normal. Everything is normal. So that is power of Lord Vishnu and prayers to Lord Vishnu. So probably we can also experience same thing in the just 1 or 2 weeks. That suddenly we find that there are no news of Corona. Oh, suddenly what happened? Yes, Bhagavatam has appeared. So all the illusion, the things have gone. As Srila Prabhupada clearly mentioned 50 years before, Bhagavatam is nothing but it is India's message of peace and goodwill. It is India's message of peace and goodwill. Only Bhagavatam can give peace to the whole world. Bhagavad Gita gives knowledge and Bhagavatam gives peace. Bhagavad Gita simply by hearing, you cannot get victory. You have to really practice. You have to practice it. And you have to adopt that Gita way of life. Whereas Srimad Bhagavatam, simply by hearing. So Arjuna did not become victorious simply hearing Bhagavad Gita. He heard Bhagavad Gita and then said, Nashto moha smritir labdha tat prasadan mayachyuta stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. Now my all illusions are gone, doubts are gone. Now my mind is steady. I got by my memory. Now I am ready to whatever you said. So means Bhagavad Gita puts back you in action. So when you put back in action, in the frame of Bhagavad Gita knowledge, you will become victorious. Whereas here, Srimad Bhagavatam, simply by hearing, you will become successful. Simply by hearing, you will become auspicious. Simply by speaking about it, they all inauspicious will go out, and the demonic things get destroyed. That is the difference between Bhagavatam. Whereas when you adopt to follow the Bhagavad Dharma, then you will be endowed with the love of Godhead, and you will be transferred to spiritual world. So there is a difference between Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita will take you to victory, opulence, extraordinary power, and morality. And Bhagavatam, simply hearing, will give you complete auspiciousness, removal of ignorance, and various benefits are there. And when you start practicing it, you will be endowed with love of Krishna, and at the end you will go to spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan. So there is a difference between Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So when the entire Asura Maya was gone, then Asuras, all the demons started, they got into fight. So the when the Kalanemi saw the Supreme Lord Vishnu is on the bird carrier, he has thrown one Trishula onto Garuda, but Supreme Lord just caught hold on the half the way, and with Chakrayudha he killed the Kalanemi. And he started with the chakra with so many demons continuously, one after the other. And as Chakrayudha is killing, all the demons started becoming very, very difficult, very, very disturbed, and very, very frightened. And now the time has come. Now Indra also become very strong and confident. And immediately he took the Vajrayudha and he was about to kill Bali Maharaj. And he said, he started saying something to him. And actually before killing Bali Maharaj, he wanted to abuse him. He wanted to really make him short-tempered. And he said that if you are really strong enough, you have really prowess, please bear the pain of my Vajrayudha, like that he started saying. At that time, Bali Maharaj did not say anything. He did not say anything. He said that your words are like a foolish person, like a childish. Because now you know that the Vishnu has come here. That's why all the Danava Maya has gone and it has become favorable to you. But few minutes before, you are in so much disturbed. So the intelligent persons, they will not be Jaya Pajaya, Mana Pamana. They will not be considering it. And from your activity speaking, I can understand that you are not a Pandita. Like that, he said. And finally, Indra has applied. He has thrown his Vajrayudha on Indra, the Bali Maharaj, who was flying on his aeroplane. So because of the attack of the Vajrayudha, along with that aeroplane, the Bali Maharaj just fell down. He fell down. And he almost become almost dead, like that. And at that time, when his commander, when he saw that their master is injured or almost dead, he immediately jumped. His name is Jambasura. Jambasura came with a big club and he attacked Airavata and hit it very strongly. When he hit it, that the Airavata fell down with it became unconscious. So at that time, another chariot was brought for Indra, and Indra got onto the new chariot and started fighting with all the demons. And all the demons started throwing so many arrows and so many shastras onto him, and as if he got covered up. But Indra, because now he is empowered or he is completely energized with nectar, he just removed all the obstacles and came out and started killing one by one. And he has killed Bala, he has killed Paka, and finally he came to Namuchi. And when he came to Namuchi, he wanted to kill, he wanted to cut his. When he wanted to cut the throat, the Vajrayudha even could not give a scratch on his skin, the Namuchi. The Indra was stunned. Hurry, how come? I am killing so many demons and this Namuchi is not getting killed. And I am not able to even make a scratch on the body of this Namuchi. So at that time, a mysterious voice came. This Namuchi can be killed only by something which is neither dry nor wet. That is the message. Then Indra thought, what could be neither dry or not wet? So then he thought that the foam is the best one, which is neither dry nor the wet. So he has now immediately applied a weapon which is made of the foam and just cut the throat of Namuchi. So it is similar. So now we have to apply soap. Soap is something foam. So a lot of foam is coming. So it is like Namuchi. Indra killed Namuchi by applying a foam. So so by simply applying the foam, the corona will get out. So Indra suddenly came to know that, and he has applied that and using that foam ayudha. So foam ayudha, and is neither dry nor wet. In that way, he became victorious, and he started continuing the more killing. Then when it was continuing, then the Brahma felt it is not good, because there should be always some balance. If all the demons are dead, and they are also they are also his creation, because essentially Brahma, the Kashyap Prajapati is there. From Kashyap Prajapati he has Diti and Aditi. From Diti all these people came, and all the demons. So he is not very much keen on destroying whole. Then he has sent Narada Muni and told, now there is no need to kill all people. Now you are having all the demigods taken the nectar, so there is no fear. Absolutely there is no fear of these demons. You have demonstrated. Now they came, and you have killed most of them, and even defeated. You are defeated, and almost you have killed the Bali Maharaj, almost killed. So why you want to unnecessarily continue your killing, or why you want to continue like that? Narada Muni conveyed the message of Brahma, and demigods thought that okay, enough is enough, let them go. So in that way, the Devadanava fighting after the nectar distribution come to end, and all Devatas with all victory sign. Wow! So they all came back to and became very, very happy and made great enjoyment. So they did not follow the principle of the Chanakya Pandita. Chanakya Pandita, as I mentioned in one of the stories, Chanakya Pandita is 24 hours principle. 24 hours principle is, even if you are victorious in any activity, your enjoyment should be only for 24 hours. So because your victory means you have fought with somebody or you have won over somebody, so you just only enjoy your festival should be only for 24 hours. From 25th hour onwards, you have to be making bigger plans, because the person who got defeated, he may come. So before he really comes, you should be having a better performance. So the 25th hour onwards you should be doing. That is 24 hours. Even if somebody is lost also, so he is crying or agony or whatever, shamefulness, etc., only for 24 hours. That also. From 25th onwards, he should now start acting how to really come back, rebound. So Indra did not do that one in his enjoyment, but Bali Maharaj did that. Whatever Shukracharya mentioned, so that whatever later our Chanakya Pandita mentioned, the Bali Maharaj did. So when all the demigods went out, remaining whatever demons are there, they took all the dead bodies, cut hands, like that, everything. They took to a place called Astachala, where Shukracharya's place is. They took somehow the Bali Maharaj also, who is almost dead. He's not dead, but he took. Then after that, so what he did, he has applied the Sanjeevani. The Shukracharya applied Sanjeevani, and all the dead demons came back to their life. Bali Maharaj also came back to life. So by the Mrita Sanjeevani. Then by the mercy of his Guru, the Bali Maharaj came back. Bali Maharaj came to then when he came back to life, Bali Maharaj did not feel any mental disturbance, because he knows Tadha Manapamanayo, Jaya Pajaya. He is equiposed. He knows that time is not suitable for him. Now he can really think what to do, what to get a permanent solution. He is going to think. So that's why he did not bother about about his defeat. And what he did, we will see in one of the coming stories. What he did and what Shukracharya did, that will come. In this way, it has ended. Bali Maharaj team gotten into some action plan to bounce back, and Indra's team went for enjoyment. They went to Swarga. So in this way, the one scene ended. Then Lord Shiva came to know that when this churning after the Hala episode, which he took onto his palms and drank, he came to know that the nectar came, and the Lord Vishnu nicely cheated. In fact, he cheated all the demons by his beautiful form and distributed to all demigods. Then he suddenly developed a desire. Oh, if she is so beautiful, so much so that even demons are got attracted and they have given the most difficult nectar to her. So I also wanted to see that. What is that beauty? I want to see. So he got one thought. Then along with Parvati, he went to the abode of the Supreme Lord. He went to see the Madhusudana, Madhudana Samhari. He went and paid obeisances to Supreme Lord and said, "My dear Lord, Deva, and you are all pervading Lord, and you are the super soul. You are super soul. And those who want to really, those who really keep yourself as the goal of life, they are never attached to the material enjoyment, and to protect them you come in different incarnations. And I have seen all your incarnations, but I came to know that you have done something new incarnation, very, very attractive, very, very something. So I would like to see that, because I have seen all your incarnations, very, very inspiring, and I never saw you taking a form of a lady, beautiful lady. I want to see that." So then when Lord Shiva expressed this one, I said, "Oh, it appears that you want to see my beautiful form. Actually, I went for a purpose of fulfilling the to favor the demigods, and I did that job. I did that wonderful task which anybody cannot do it. But since you are very eager to see that, I will make you to see that." That much he told. And it disappeared. So Lord Shiva and Parvati just stood there, and suddenly he turned and went. You don't know. He thought that he would show, but he sometimes disappeared. Then the Lord Shiva started looking here and there. What happened? Suddenly, after a few minutes, he saw a beautiful, some song started coming. So he started, where from this beautiful song is coming? Then when looking, suddenly he saw at long distance a beautiful lady was playing in the gardens, in the forest. Is it like a forest? Because in that it was looking very attractive. Suddenly Lord Shiva's the attention went on to that lady. And she was happily playing on a ball, a big ball. She was jumping, beautiful, very thin waist, and it was moving very beautifully, nicely. And there's a great narration, description. Actually, she was playing with a ball, and because of the like a football with a big ball, and play. But of course, she is not playing with foot. She was playing with hands only. She was just taking the balls and trying to throw and trying to catch, and she was also jumping to catch it. Not only she was just standing, she was when it is thrown up, she is jumping to catch it. So those activities really made her more attracted. the Lord Shiva just even forgotten that wife is there next to him, but still without blinking he started looking. And suddenly they saw the big big breeze came, and it became very difficult for her, and her even the clothes started getting out loose, and they went off. And that lady became naked. That lady became naked. Then Lord Shiva was stunned, and he just started moving towards her. The moment when he started moving towards her, that lady accidentally or intentionally saw Lord Shiva. Till then she was only playing. Then you are only playing. When Lord Shiva was just moving closer, at that time she was naked, and she looked at him. Not only she looked at him, she smiled at him. The moment he smiled, then he thought that, oh, she got all even attracted, and went more faster towards that beautiful lady. And when she saw that he is coming, without considering anything, she hid behind the tree. But Lord Shiva went in front and caught hold of her hair, pulled her and embraced her. When he embraced her, she moved like a snake. In the hands of the Lord Shiva, she moved like a snake and slipped out and started running. And Parvati was looking at him, but Shiva did not bother or consider. He did not see anything in the world. Only he is seeing that wonderful lady, and who is naked, and she is running, and Lord Shiva started running. When he was running, after a few minutes, he got semen discharge. Again, still running, discharging, continuous. He was the lady, the enchanting lady was moving everywhere, hills, trees, forests, on the banks of rivers, on the banks of ponds, and everywhere. So all beautiful places, everywhere, in the valleys. And when Lord Shiva, when he completely discharged his semen, he became completely cooled off. Suddenly he remembered that now I understand that he became illusioned by Lord Vishnu. At that time he came to consciousness. The moment he got that understanding that it is whatever is nothing but the illusion created by Madhusudana, Lord Vishnu, he just became silent. When he became silent, the Lord appeared in front of him. The beautiful form is gone, the lady is gone, and Vishnu. And Lord Shiva was not shameful, but he was only silent. He was not shameful. And he just put his head down and kept silent. He knows that it is a great illusion of Lord Vishnu. So anybody will be affected by that. So where is the question of becoming ashamed? So at least he is fortunate that now he realized that Vishnu Maya is in front of, and that was his intention. He wanted to see, and Lord Vishnu has shown that. And at that time the Supreme Lord mentioned that, hey Surashreshth, he has addressed Lord Shiva as the best of all demigods, a Surashreshth. Though you got illusioned by my Maya, again you came back to normal condition. Who else can really do that? Because you are a Dhira and you are very powerful, you could come to this. Like that he mentioned. And at that time, Lord Shiva simply did not say anything, and paid obeisances and made parikrama, and along with Parvati, he just came back without any discussions. Neither he spoke to Vishnu, nor she spoke to Parvati, and both came to Kailas. So after coming, he started saying, my dear Devi, just did you see the power of illusion by Lord Vishnu? So though I am the part and parcel of these two, still I am affected by that. Then what to talk about the people who are under the complete control of this illusion? Just imagine. You asked me some time back, unto whom I always meditate, because then and it is about this personality who actually even can put me into illusion, who can put onto illusion anybody. Unto this personality only I constantly meditate. Like that, the Lord Shiva has given a wonderful, powerful Supreme Lord's glories, and after this incident was narrated, Shukadeva Goswami gives a beautiful message that whoever hears this churning of that is Ksheerasagara Mathana, whoever hears this wonderful story of Ksheerasagara Mathana, and whoever narrates, their efforts will never become in vain. They will never become nishphala. Phala, safala, nishphala. There are two words in Sanskrit. Safala means fruitful, and nishphala means fruitless. Safala. Phala means fruit. Safala means fruitful. Fruitless, nishphala. So the Shukadeva Goswami mentioned, whoever hears the story of wonderful story of churning, that is Ksheerasagara Mathana, and from beginning to end, both the hearers and speakers, their activities, their endeavors will never become fruitless. They become fruitful. So our efforts are very clear that by this process of speaking and hearing continuously for 30 days, we want to become purified. We want to make our lives auspicious, and also actually our auspiciousness is done in 1 day or 1 hour itself. We are hearing 30 days. So what you will do? More auspicious, more auspicious. No, our idea is that to spread this auspiciousness all over earth globe. That's our endeavor. So our endeavor, as per the statement of Shukadeva Goswami, is going to become fruitful. So we are going to spread this auspiciousness all over the earth or the earth globe, so that the Maya created, or the illusion created, or the great danger created by the coronavirus, they get destroyed. When the auspiciousness comes, the darkness has to go out. So it is another confirmation coming from Bhagavatam Shukadeva Goswami that our endeavors are going to become fruitful. Hope you all will accept. Hare Krishna. So Shukadeva Goswami further said that the great Supreme Lord has appeared in the most beautiful form, Mohini Devi, and he has enchanted all the Danavas and given perfectly nectar to all the demigods. And unto him who fulfills the desires of Supreme Lord, I am paying obeisances. So in this way, the first story comes to end, and from this we can understand at various points the Ksheerasagara Mathana, how the Lord Krishna is protecting his devotees time to time, which is actually a clear example or clear manifestation whatever he told in Bhagavad Gita, that Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. So this is the message which he has given in Bhagavad Gita, that his devotee will never be perished. It doesn't mean that he will not get any problem. Devotee will not get any problem. Devotees may get problem, will get problem, but the thing is that at the appropriate time, at right time, the Supreme Lord will come and destroy it, so that the faith in the heart of a devotee gets multiplied. Because of that, he gets attachment increases, and he contemplate on the words of Krishna and his pastimes, which actually make them to get transferred to spiritual. So here, all the activities, whatever incidences that take place, they will increase the faith. They will increase the faith of the devotee and their attachment to the Supreme Lord Krishna, which at the end, because the test is only one time. For devotees, the test is only one time. That is at the end. At the time of death, whether we are remembering Krishna or not. The moment we remember Krishna, we are going to the Krishna's world. If you remember something else, we go somewhere else. This is very different. But Krishna's memory will continue, but we may not go to Krishna's place. So our whole test is our main concern is how do we remember? How do we remember? So that comes, that is the final test for the devotees, and to get prepared toward the test is the practical experiences that they would get time to time. So in this way we are coming to the conclusion of the first study, that is the Lord's illusionary power, Lord's Maya.